Has OnePlus finally settled? Find out in my full review. So welcome to another video, and this is a video on the OnePlus 10 Pro. So is this phone worth the hype, or is it a slight disappointment compared to the brand's true values and morals? Well, in this full review we're going to find out, because I have some strong thoughts on this brand new device from OnePlus. So first of all, let's look at the design here. So you can see by some of the B-roll shots, I actually think the design is fantastic, and I think they've done a really good job. So credit where credit's due, they've done an amazing job. You can see you've got a 6.7 inch display, you've got a Quad HD resolution, 120Hz refresh rate, a peak brightness of over 1000 nits. So on paper, the specs are really good. However, how does this actually perform in person, and how can we actually judge this display compared to the competition? Because you've got to remember now, this phone is costing around £900, so this is punching some of the big boys in terms of specs. And unfortunately, I am a little bit disappointed really. I would expect a lot better. Yes, this screen is good and it's nice, but it doesn't do anything amazing. You know, we've seen this before. We've seen this from the Oppo Find X2 Pro 2 years ago, and I actually think that's a better display. It's brighter, it looks slightly more crisp, it's got curved edges, which I personally really like on a device. So the screen's good, it does the job, it's nice, it's bright, it's smooth, but it's not as smooth as I expected. There is a few stutters and stammers here and there, and I think, you know, that might be due to the actual operating system, which again we'll come to later on, because I think that's a bit of a mess at the moment, but we'll get to that. But overall, it continues to display that yes, it's nice, but it's not groundbreaking, and I would have expected a little bit more from OnePlus on that matter really. So that demonstration of the phone's stereo speakers shows you how weak they are compared to the competition. I really don't think these are good enough, and the quality and the output of these speakers is very poor. So on the design again, like I said at the start of the video, it's really nice, but we can go a bit more in detail here with this. So you've actually got a camera bump that jets out. I'm not a biggest fan of the location. When you rest your finger, you kind of smudge the sort of camera lens, which is really glossy and it smudges. So, you know, in that respect, I would say, you know, it's a little bit annoying, but you do get used to it, and you can place your hands, you know, slightly underneath it when you get used to the positioning of the phone. I would prefer a curved display on this. You've got quite skinny bezels all the way around, so you can see if you turn the display on, you've got nice skinny symmetrical bezels really round, so I do think that looks really good. A small punch hole cut out, which again, absolutely fine with, no problems with that at all. When you get to the back, you've actually got a really nice finish. Now I'm going to give them some credit for this, because I think this is one of like the best finishes on a smartphone. Really smooth to the touch, not super slippery, doesn't attract loads of fingerprints, and I just think the colour's really nice as well. It actually looks a lot better in person than it does sort of on the pictures. Round the side, again, these side rails feel a little bit cheap for me. They don't feel quite as premium as I'd like. It doesn't sort of blend in as smoothly as I would like. I mean, the phone that I'm actually going to go back to, I actually bought this phone as a replacement for my Huawei Mate 40 Pro. I just wanted something a little bit different, so I thought I'm going to try the OnePlus. And after a few days, yeah, unfortunately, you know, this phone that's 2 years newer than my Huawei just doesn't live up to the expectation that I thought, and that's why I wanted to do an in-depth review on this. So at the bottom you've got your USB Type-C. So again, you've got charging for 80 watt Super VOOC charging, which I think is fantastic. 50 watt wireless charging with supported wireless chargers. Again, really good, charges the battery up nice and fast, that you can get a full charge from the 80 watt charging in around 36 to 38 minutes. And this seems to be quite accurate with that as well. It does seem to deliver on that quite well. Also, you've got stereo speakers, so you've got a speaker at the bottom and you've got a speaker on the earpiece at the top. So let's talk cameras. Now this is what I use my smartphone for most of the time, and on the face of it, this phone has a really good set of cameras. However, that really isn't the case, and these are extremely overhyped. These are very average at best, and in fact some mid-range devices, some of the Realme devices, actually have a much better camera systems than this phone does. This phone camera really falls apart in low light. However, nowadays smartphones mostly can take good pictures in the day, regardless of budget, and again, unfortunately that's the case with this device. In the day, the pictures come out of it are really good, colour science is quite good, thanks to the tuning from the partnership with Hasselblad. However, the actual quality of the sensors, the lenses, and the overall experience, I think does require a lot of improvement. The user interface isn't quite there yet, and I'd like to see a much more professional looking camera app with much more in-depth features than what it actually currently has to offer. Again, I'm not going too in depth with this because by the time this video goes out, you've already probably seen a ton of reviews showing you the camera features and the cameras on this device. All I'm doing is giving you my honest feedback as a photographer on my opinion on these cameras. And overall, I'd say I'm very disappointed. However, there is some elements of hope for the brand in the future because there is some really nice features and processors baked into this camera app. With a 5000 mAh battery, the battery life on this phone I would say is around average. I actually expected it to be slightly better than it was, and I think that's due to the software optimizations because I've seen various different bugs and different slight freezes and judders through this phone, and it's not as smooth as I was expect for a phone at this price point and the actual new age of the device. So the software itself runs Android 12 with Oxygen OS, and unfortunately this is a bit of a hash up between ColorOS and the original Oxygen OS, and I actually like ColorOS, but in this incarnation the two mixed together just makes for a cluttered experience. So that's my full review of the OnePlus 10 Pro. So what do I think? So in conclusion then, I think the display is very nice, the camera system is okay but needs some improvement, the speakers are very weak, the build quality and design work of the phone is fantastic, battery life remains really good with good charging options, and the software is a little bit to be desired with some improvements needed. So I know it seems I'm being quite harsh in this review, however these are just my honest views and opinions, and I'll always give those views and opinions to the consumer. So in conclusion, for the everyday person who wants a very good, reliable phone to do everything well but nothing groundbreaking and no standout features, then this phone is fantastic. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment below. I'd really appreciate your feedback on the quality of these videos.